In this deep, ancient valley, life unfolds in two extreme opposites. One side is the gentle wandering of a small deer. The other is power. We often look at the highest peaks of success and feel a deep longing to be there. Yet we rarely stop to ask what lies behind. The deer lives a life of simple grace, moving through the shadows of the trees without a care, drinking from the cool, refreshing mountain springs. Its world is small, but filled with a quiet harmony that many of us have long forgotten in our constant pursuit of something more significant. High above, on the jagged rocks that touch the clouds, stands the king, a symbol of absolute authority and the undisputed ruler of the wild. Every creature in the forest knows his name, and his roar can shake the very earth beneath the feet of those who dare to listen. He is the embodiment of glory, a living legend wrapped in gold, standing at the pinnacle where the air is thin and the view is endless. But behind this grand display of dominance lies a truth that few can see. The contrast between these two lives tells a story of hidden costs. Is the height of the throne worth the weight of the crown? Let us look closer at the hearts of these two very different beings. The deer looks up at the mountain and thinks, "If only I had that strength, I would never have to run or hide ever again." It sees the lion's silhouette against the sun and imagines a life where fear is a stranger and every step is taken with absolute confidence. To be small is to be fragile. The deer remembers the many times it had to flee, heart racing from the shadows of the night. It believes that power is the only cure for fear, and that a crown of gold would protect it from the dangers of the world. In its dreams, the deer walks through the forest and the wolves scatter. It imagines a version of itself that finally commands total respect. This is the tragedy of comparison. We often focus so much on the strengths of others that we forget the value of our own nature. It yearns for a life it does not understand, seeing only the surface of a king's glory, without knowing the price that must be paid. It carries the weight of perceived inadequacy, unaware that the one it admires is carrying a burden far heavier than any predator's threat. Ambition can be a beautiful thing, but when it is rooted in envy, it blinds us to the peace that is already within our reach. But the deer does not know that the king has never truly slept. Every inch of his body bears the marks of 1,000 battles. These scars are the price of the throne. To lead is to be a target, and to be powerful is to be constantly challenged. He lives in a state of eternal vigilance. While the forest sleeps, the king must watch the shadows for those who wish to take his place. Power creates a wall between the leader and the led. At the top of the mountain, there is no one he can truly trust or love. He looks down at the valley and sees a simple peace he can never have. He envies the deer for its ability to simply exist. Every movement is a reminder of the physical cost of his reign. The crown is not made of gold. It is made of iron. He is bound by the expectations of his subjects and the threats of his enemies. He cannot show weakness, even for a single moment. To be a king is to be a servant to the survival of the pride. His life is no longer his own. It belongs to history. The higher you climb, the harder the wind blows. The glory that the world sees is often just a mask for deep internal exhaustion. There is no peace for the one who carries the world on his shoulders. The price of power is the loss of oneself. The night explodes into violence. The king is forced to defend his title once again against those who smell blood and see opportunity. This is the reality of his life. Not a majestic stroll, but a brutal, desperate struggle to stay alive and remain in control of things. Each victory leaves a new scar, both on his skin and in his soul. He fights not for glory, but for the right to exist. To protect his territory, he has lost everything that truly mattered. Friends, family, and the innocence of youth have all been sacrificed for duty. He is a solitary warrior in a world that wants to pull him down. The throne is a lonely island in a sea of enemies. The battle ends, but the war never does. There is no final victory for the king. only the next challenge waiting in the dark. Glory is a fleeting shadow that leaves behind a heavy heart. He survives, but at what cost to his remaining sense of peace? In the silence that follows the roar, the pain sets in. He licks his wounds alone, with no one to comfort him in his suffering. The moonlight reveals the truth of his condition. He is a weary traveler on a road that leads only to more conflict and sorrow. He is the master of all he surveys, and yet he owns nothing but his own pain. This is the heavy price of survival. The next morning, the deer happens upon the scene of the struggle. It sees the disturbed earth and the dark stains of battle. It sees the king, not standing tall on a rock, but huddled in the shadows of a cave, broken and trying to heal his wounds. The illusion is gone. The deer realizes that the strength it once envied is actually a burden that has shattered the king's spirit. It looks at its own life with new eyes. Its legs are thin, but they are free. Its heart is small, but it is calm. It understands now that freedom is the greatest treasure. It doesn't need to be feared to be happy. It only needs to be free. The taste of the water is sweeter when you are not looking over your shoulder for a rival. Peace is the ultimate height of living. It stops comparing its life to the lion's. It no longer wishes for the crown, for it has found a kingdom within itself. The valley is no longer a place of hiding, but a sanctuary of simple joys. The deer has finally found its true home. Connection and community are more powerful than any throne. The deer is rich in ways the king could never even imagine or reach. Its soul is light, and its path is clear. The awakening of the deer is the realization that enough is more than plenty for happiness. Life is made of small moments, not just grand achievements. A leaf in the wind, a quiet breath, the warmth of the sun on skin. When we stop chasing the sun, we begin to notice the beauty of the stars. Contentment is the ability to see the extraordinary in the ordinary. In our modern world, we are all like the deer, looking at the lions of fame and fortune with envy, forgetting our own quiet blessings. We trade our peace for a title, our time for a name, only to realize at the end that the climb was more exhausting than rewarding. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Every path has its own weight, and every soul its own unique rhythm. Learn to love the peace in your own hands. Happiness is not measured by how high you stand, but by how still your heart is. Release the need for the world's applause. Find your own kingdom in the simple things that make your heart feel light and truly alive. May you find the courage to be yourself and the wisdom to know that you are already enough exactly as you are right now. Today, happiness is knowing enough. May you find your peace in the quiet moments of your own journey through the forest of life.